Hello everyone. I welcome all of you to YuktMind's unique initiative 10 minutes and newspaper done. Through this initiative, we are trying to save precious time of aspirants by bringing 1 to 2 hours of newspaper reading to approximately 10 minutes. Today is 6th June and we have selected 8 UPSC relevant current happenings for you. You can download the PDF of the gist from our Telegram channel or website. So let's make today count by quickly finishing the discussion. First news, services sector output grew at the second fastest pace in 13 years in May as per the S&P Global India Services PMI Business Activity Index, which eased to 61.2 from 62 in April. This triggered an uptick in new jobs that was the highest so far in 2023. While the index indicates demand resilience and output growth, inflationary pressures continue to pose a challenge because ongoing increases in output charges could erode purchasing power of people, affect the affordability of services, and potentially dampen economic growth. Now, what is PMI? Its full form is Purchasing Managers Index. It is an economic indicator which is derived after monthly surveys of different companies. The index helps in determining whether the market conditions, as seen by purchasing managers, is expanding, contracting, or staying the same. The purpose of the PMI is to provide information about current and future business conditions to company decision makers, analysts, and investors. There are two types of PMI, manufacturing and services. A combined index is also made using both manufacturing PMI and services PMI. How is the manufacturing PMI derived? The PMI is derived by sending fact-based questions to a large number of companies in the concerned sector. For manufacturing PMI, the questionnaire is sent to manufacturing companies. The questions are related to 5 key variables. The variables with their weights are new orders 30%, output 25%, employment 20%, suppliers delivery times 15%, and stock of items purchased 10%. A PMI number greater than 50 indicates expansion in business activity. A number less than 50 shows contraction. The manufacturers and suppliers use the index to decide on their production needs based on new orders in the coming months. The index also helps investors who are looking to invest in the stock markets as it helps in determining the economic health of the country. PMI is compiled by IHS Markit for more than 40 economies worldwide. IHS Markit is a global leader in information, analytics, and solutions for the major industries and markets that drive economies worldwide. IHS Markit is part of S&P Global. Second news, India and the US concluded a roadmap for defense industrial cooperation which shall guide the policy direction for the next few years towards cooperation in high technology areas and identifying opportunities for co-development and co-production. This was concluded during the bilateral meeting between Defense Minister Rajnath Singh and visiting US Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin. In the background of this information, we should know that there are 3 military agreements between India and USA. First is General Security of Military Information Agreement signed in 2002. Second is Logistic Exchange Memorandum of Agreement signed in 2016, in which India and USA can use each other's military bases to carry out repairs and resupplying. The third one is Communications Compatibility and Security Agreement, in short known as COMCASA, which is to share and secure communications exchange between two nations during training exercises and operations. You can find the details in the PDF provided in the Telegram channel. Both sides will identify opportunities for co-development of new technologies and co-production of existing and new systems and facilitate increased collaboration between defense startup ecosystems of the two countries. India-US partnership is critical for ensuring a free, open and rules-bound Indo-Pacific region. Now let us know if you know the name of military exercises between USA and India. You may write the answers in the comments below. Third news, the National Institutional Ranking Framework NIRF under the Union Education Ministry announced the India Rankings 2023 of higher education institutions. The IIT Madras retained its position as the best educational institution in overall ranking for the 5th consecutive term, while Indian Institute of Science Bengaluru was rated the best university in the country for 8 years in a row. Miranda House, Delhi was ranked the best college, and the Indian Institute of Management, Ahmedabad, the top management institute. The National Institute of Pharmaceutical Education and Research, Hyderabad, was named the best institute in the field. The AIMS Delhi was ranked the best medical college, and Savita Institute of Medical and Technical Science Chennai got the honor of top dental college. The National Law School of India University Bengaluru was rated the best law college in the country. The IIT Madras also received the honor of best engineering college for the 8th consecutive year. NIRF was approved by the Ministry of Education, erstwhile Ministry of Human Resource Development, in September 2015. It is the first ever effort by the government to rank higher education institutions in the country. Participation in NIRF was made compulsory for all government run educational institutions in 2018. Now, what motivated government to bring these rankings? The subjectivity in the ranking methodology developed by QS World University Rankings and the Times Higher Education World University Ranking led India to start its own ranking system for Indian higher education institutions on the line of Shanghai rankings. The five broad categories of parameters in the NIRF are teaching, learning and resources, research and professional practice, graduation outcome, outreach and inclusivity, and perception. Fourth news, India outlined a draft called as the Delhi Declaration, which is a series of commitments to responsible state behavior in cyberspace for G20 member countries, drawn from existing non-binding norms that they have already signed on to under the auspices of the United Nations. The Microsoft Corporation had helped draft the declaration. If adopted, G20 countries would commit to not damage critical infrastructure or other essential systems, to cooperate, mitigate, and investigate cyber incidents and other malicious activities in cyberspace, to protect and not disrupt software supply chains, to respect international law and rule of law in cyberspace, and to protect the humanitarian sector. Fifth news analyzes the accidents in Indian Railways. The Indian Railways saw an average of about 1390 accidents per year in the 1960s. The number has dramatically dropped to 80 per year in the past decade. But the triple train collision in Odisha's Balasore, one of the deadliest in India, raises questions about safety in rail travel. Now, derailments formed close to 70% of all accidents since 1991, followed by level crossing accidents, collisions, and fires in trains. This Balasore accident of Odisha is one of the biggest in history because the number of deaths in this single incident is higher than the annual fatalities of the last 16 years. Among the consequential train accidents, 55% had occurred due to negligence or failure of the railway staff. About 28% of accidents were attributed to the failure of persons other than the railway staff, and 6% had occurred due to equipment failure. In the 2023-24 Union Budget, the railways received a record allocation of rupees 2.40 lakh crore. The Rashtriya Rail Sanraksha Kosh Fund was created in 2017-18 with a corpus of 1 lakh crore rupees to provide financial support for critical safety related works and to curb accidents, including those at unmanned level crossings. However, a parliamentary standing committee report in March 2023 observed that appropriations to the Rashtriya Rail Sanraksha Kosh has been falling short ever since it was introduced. The committee also noted that the railways did not meet the target of earmarked allocations for the previous 5 years. The major causes of derailments are rail fractures, weld failures, track defects, and rolling stock defects. As per a Ministry of Railway document on safety performance, the track forms the backbone of the railway's transportation systems and needs to be safe. According to a white paper by the ministry, 4,500 km of track should be renewed annually. But in reality, the railways could not achieve it except 1 year. Sixth news is an opinion article about deepfakes. A deepfake is something that a machine has produced using deep learning and which contains false information. Deepfakes distort reality and attempt to persuade us that something false is true. Now, there are various examples of deepfake. People worldwide have already used the technology to create a video of Barack Obama verbally abusing Donald Trump, hack facial recognition software, manufacture revenge porn, etc. A deepfake image purporting to show a towering column of dark smoke rising from the Pentagon received some coverage from the news channels. The image was soon found to have been machine made. Now, there are good uses of deepfakes as well. The ALS Association in the USA founded a voice cloning initiative to restore the voices of those who had lost it to amyotrophic lateral sclerosis. Deep learning has also been adopted in comedy, cinema, music, and gaming. Experts have recreated the voices or visuals of visual artist Andy Warhol, celebrity chef Anthony Bourdain, and rapper Tupac Shakur, among others, enhancing our ability to understand and even reinterpret history. Technology is a lot about how we wield it, and there are various perceptions, especially about the upcoming technologies. Now, one of the example is solar geoengineering, which involves modifying the climate to be favorable over one part of the planet by blocking sunlight, but which invariably has planet-wide consequences. Now, many scientists agree that this is dangerous and have called for a moratorium on the use of this technology and for international cooperation led by a treaty. Deepfakes merit a similar response. Laws that regulate its use and punish bad faith actors and keep the door open for democratic inputs to guide the future of such a powerful technology. Seventh article is discussing trade momentum. Mired in a slowing economy, inflationary setting, and a tighter monetary controls world over, India's merchandise exports shrunk 12.7% on a year-on-year basis to $34.66 billion in April, a 6-month low. Imports fell sharper by 14% to $49.9 billion during the same period. The fall in imports and exports is not limited to India, as other countries too have recorded similar declines. Let's see what are the current underlying trends in global trade. The essential headwinds observed with respect to global trade are weaker economic activities worldwide, inflation and tightening of monetary policies, disrupted supply chains because of the Russia-Ukraine conflict, and financial instability because of the collapse of several financial institutions in advanced economies. As observed by World Trade Organizations, though food and energy prices receded from their post-conflict peaks by the fourth quarter, they remained high by historical standards and continued to erode real incomes and import demand during the mentioned period. The collapse of financial institutions such as of the crypto exchange FTX, alongside three banks in the USA since March, the Silicon Valley Bank, Signature Bank, and the First Republic Bank, and the loss of confidence in Credit Suisse added to the troubled scenario. As the UNCTAD in its latest update concluded, the events raised the specter of financial contagion in an already slowing economy. Now, how are these mentioned events related to trade? In a period of economic slowdown, there is an aversion for discretionary spending, which particularly weighs on some imports and postponable expenditures. It is in this light that the exports of engineering goods, gems and jewelry, chemicals, ready-made garments and plastics, along with petroleum products, contracted or grew at a slower pace in 2023. Similarly, inflation, the uneven rise in prices, especially of essentials such as food and energy, erodes the purchasing power of an individual. Inflation also affects the flow of capital to a developing country like India. Eighth News is an example about a woman who has dedicated her life for humanitarian issues. Miss Manta Pradhan, 59, an Ayurvedic practitioner, has made humanitarian aid at disaster sites her life's mission. She has been active in the train accident tragedy in Balasore, Odisha, apart from working at major disaster sites world over. Thank you for watching. Let us know your feedback in the comments. Keep visiting our website, Telegram, Instagram, and Twitter.